Hi, and welcome to my video series where we deconstruct the dancing and we decode some of the phrases that we commonly use when we're talking about dancing. Today I'm going to be talking about using your center. Oftentimes we use that as a shorthand to engage the area in the middle of the body, and most of the time as a student you try to do exactly what your teacher tells you to do, and that may or may not be clear. So using your center is absolutely something we need to do in dancing, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into how do we accomplish that. One of the main ways we talk about using your center is we talk about holding or creating a bracing effect. So we embrace it by squeezing into the abdominal region. That's what we tend to refer to as our center. Now, when we do that engagement, we squeeze and we limit ranges of motion. There's nothing wrong with having engagement in the muscles, but the muscles tend to work best throughout the body when they are reactive to my actions to help me control. So I need the area in the central part of my body to react to my movement. Unfortunately, if we haven't trained ourselves and we don't have an awareness of this area of our body, it becomes quite difficult to create an engagement. I'm going to walk you through a couple of drills that you can do to find the engagement in this area of your body, and this is how we're going to evaluate, are we using our center? First thing I want you to do, we're going to take a deep breath in. We're just going to observe what that feels like to take that breath in inside the body. So we're going to take a breath in on the inhale and exhale. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. And last time, inhale and exhale. Okay, so now you've taken a couple of breaths. Hopefully that means that you're breathing a little bit better than you did before, because most of the time when we're going from day-to-day life, we forget how to breathe and we forget that we need to breathe. I'm going to explain a little bit about the anatomy of the body in this area and how do we breathe effectively. So the most common muscle that we're going to use is going to be the diaphragm. Diaphragm connects in the bottom of the rib cage and wraps around and connects into the bottom of the spine. So if you imagine it's like a plate that's flexible. So it's a flexible muscle that runs flat across. And as you contract it, it expands downward. And as it expands downward, it creates pressure into the abdomen. And as it expands downward and creates pressure in the abdomen, we've got a lower diaphragm at the pelvic floor. And that will release downward. So we've got contraction at the top, release down at the bottom. So let's all try that. We're going to move our hands like this, and we're going to breathe in. Contraction top, release down below. We may need a couple more times to get that going. Contraction top, release down below. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Contraction at the top and release down below. One more time. So by breathing, what we're doing is we're getting all the muscles to activate in conjunction. By cueing the diaphragm, specifically the thoracic diaphragm, to move, we create a little bit of intra-abdominal pressure. In moving down, we allow the abdomen to move downward. As we move the pelvic floor down at the same time, we create movement of your viscera, or innards if you want to call them that, downwards towards the base. And by releasing the breath downward, what you'll do is you'll create a little bit of a pressure down and a pressure back up. So everything's moving together. Now to demonstrate this, I'm going to walk, first of all, across the camera, and I'm going to demonstrate what it looks like when I just let everything go. So I'm going to have a complete released feeling inside my body. Everything's going to let go through the center of my body. Okay, here I'm going to walk. So as I walk, you'll notice it looks very relaxed. I'll do that again. Now I'm going to walk and maintain the breath support through the middle of my body. Breath support is going to come down and up. I breathe in and breathe out. Now as I walk, this should look slightly different. I'll do that again. So if we're aware of the breath, we can now play around with creating a more dedicated feeling of pressure or activation through the middle part of the body. If I breathe in and breathe out and allow the breath to move downward through my body, I feel the breath moving downward. And back up again. And downward. And back up again. And what you should start to feel is the abdomen is going to be expanding and contracting back. So if I'm breathing in and out, I'm feeling movement up and down and expansion throughout the middle part of my body. So breath alone, without the expansion back up, will just create a release. So I do want to create a little bit of release through the middle of my body, but I also want to create that feeling of how the tension in the middle can increase. So if I breathe down and up at the same time, that creates one sense. Now at the bottom, I can also imagine that that's contracting upward as I'm breathing downward. We're just going to use this as an example to increase the pressure so we can feel more awareness of what's happening inside. So breathe in, diaphragm goes down, pelvic floor now goes up, and we release oppositionally. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So now that I have the engagement through the area of my body that I'm trying to activate, I will make sure that I maintain an awareness of these muscles through here, through my breath. If I stop breathing and hold it, it becomes a bit too rigid. I'll also demonstrate walking with it being too rigid. And being too rigid. So we have three examples of how you walk with breath support, without breath support, and with just muscular tension. I'm going to give you one more drill that you can play with, and this one's a little bit of a fun one. We're going to take a book or anything that you can balance on top of your head, and we're going to create a core support through the center of our body. If I'm walking with activation, it should help me balance the book on top of my head. This is just a fun drill you can try for yourself. So we take the book, place it on top of the head. Now, I'm kind of cheating and I'm using a soft book, so it does conform slightly to the shape of my head. Now, if I'm going to take a couple of steps forward and I'm going to release, what happens is the book very quickly falls down. Now I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do the rigid form. I'm going to place the book and balance it on top of my head. I'm going to contract my muscles really strongly and try to walk. Once again, the book is going to fall. Now I'm going to use some breath support. I'm going to breathe in, allowing the diaphragm to descend, allowing the pelvic floor to descend. I'll feel the intra-abdominal pressure and feel the movement happening through my body. So I'll breathe in and breathe out and allow the muscles to support me as I'm walking. So as I'm walking, what it enables me to do is maintain a level gait and a balanced gait. That means my walking is balanced. The muscles are able to react to my movement versus me holding it too tight or not activating enough. Most of the issue we have when we're talking about holding the center is we don't have quite enough activation. We have to find the breath support, and that can help us find our center.